On the final day of the retreat, I sat down next to Chris at breakfast, eyeing the vegan continental spread with the enthusiasm of someone who'd been surviving on quinoa and spiritual insights for a week. Today's Kundalini Day, he announced, taking a bite of what appeared to be enlightened granola. That's great. Does it come with mozzarella? I asked, genuinely hopeful. Or maybe some marinara on the side. Chris nearly choked on his orange juice. Dude, what? Well, I mean, is it like a pasta thing? Kundalini sounds super Italian. Maybe it's those long, curly noodles. I've been craving carbs all week. It's not it's not food, man. Oh, I paused, deflated. Is it like a wine then? Because I could really go for some Kundalini Shanti right now. Chris stared at me like I just asked if enlightenment came with a side of fries. It's a spiritual energy that awakens your consciousness. It cleans out all the dense energies around the clock. Interesting, I thought. Next level stuff. Sign me up. Ah, I nodded sagely, as if this clarified everything. So it's like spiritual pasta energy? Chris laughed. You know what, man? Just show up to the session. You'll figure it out. As we entered the meditation hall, we were greeted by Diane, a shaman who specialized in the Kundalini activation process, CAP. She had the kind of wild hair that suggested she'd either been struck by lightning or was channeling some serious cosmic forces. We all laid down in the meditation room as Diane began her work, walking from person to person, screaming, not pleasant chanting, but full-throated primal screaming, while touching people on their foreheads, bellies, and other parts of their bodies. The room filled with an occasional orchestra of groans, shouts, and what sounded like people being exorcised. What Diane was attempting was called Shaktipat, the transmission of awakened Kundalini energy from one person to another. In traditional settings, this required years of preparation under a competent guru in a controlled environment where every aspect of your life was monitored. Yet here she was, awakening it to anyone who wanted it like it was a Costco sample. She had made her way there to me 3 times, each visit more intense than the last. On the third approach, she placed her hand on my belly and let out a scream that could have shattered windows. Suddenly, this energy erupted from the base of my spine like a volcano of pure electricity. I found myself screaming back at her, face to face, as what felt like molten lightning shot through my entire nervous system. The pain was so intense that I was flinching and writhing, completely bewildered by what was happening to me. I knew right then I had made a big mistake. By the time everybody had gotten up and left, I was still sprawled in the back of the room, my body radiating heat like a furnace. I ripped my shirt off, unable to move from the searing pain coursing through me. While I hadn't felt Gareth energies all week, I suddenly felt a massive force inside my stomach. It didn't waste any time, slowly and deliberately moving up my spine like a serpent of fire, working its way into my third eye, where it has remained ever since. What I learned later about Kundalini horrified me. This wasn't just some gentle energy healing. This was the activation of a tremendous evolutionary force that comes with the most amount of warning labels in all of spirituality. There are vastly different perspectives on what Kundalini actually is and what happens when it awakens. Primarily, it is seen as a divine, or as Christians call it, demonic, evolutionary force that lies dormant at the base of the spine in all of us. Kundalini energy rips through your entire energetic system, clearing chakras and purging every last ounce of dense energy from your being like a spiritual hurricane. It's designed to burn up trauma, conditioning, and limiting beliefs as it rises through each chakra until it reaches the final destination of the crown. The heat I experienced wasn't metaphorical. Kundalini is literally described as an inner fire that purifies by burning away everything that no longer serves you. The end result is enlightenment. That is, if you can make it that far and not go crazy or kill yourself from the pain and mental distortions it causes. The minimum time for this process is typically 3 years, with the most suffering from it for decades. Sadhguru, One of the world's most respected spiritual teachers calls it the most dangerous form of yoga. You absolutely should not awaken it without the proper continual guidance of a guru who specializes in it. In the years since that day, this energy has caused me unbearable discomfort, many days, leaving me bedridden, shrieking in pain. My appetite has dropped to almost non existent. The head pressure is so intense, it's hard to even type these words out right now. And it's feeling like it's killing me from the inside out. Many of the seekers and mentors I've befriended have dealt with Kundalini awakenings and survived them. The beginning is the hardest, they tell me, and apparently it gets easier over time. I still haven't seen any signs of it slowing down anytime soon for me, and it's been 2.5 years. I found it deeply irresponsible that, despite knowing I was a complete beginner, no one had told me at the retreat to take a step back and at least research first what I was getting into. This wasn't like trying a new meditation technique. This was invoking one of the most potent spiritual forces known to humanity, equivalent to handling a toddler a heroin needle. The original Hindu texts, such as the Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita, do not mention Kundalini. It only appears in later Hatha Yoga and Tantra texts from the 9th to 10th centuries, always with the understanding that you needed a master guide. The traditional approach was to focus on deity worship and let the Kundalini awaken naturally when you're ready, not to force it through mass group sessions with strangers. What have I done? I think often of Gopi Krishna, whose autobiographical account, Living with Kundalini, remains one of the most honest and terrifying descriptions of spontaneous Kundalini awakening ever written. In 1937, while meditating at his home in Kashmir, Krishna experienced a sudden, violent awakening that nearly destroyed him. For months, he felt like molten lava was flowing through his spine. His body burned with unbearable heat, and he teetered on the edge of madness. He couldn't eat or sleep and was convinced he was dying. His experience lasted for years of agony before gradually stabilizing into what he described as a permanent state of expanded consciousness. Even former bodybuilder, YouTuber, and Brahmin consciousness embodier Frank Yang, despite his physical strength and mental discipline, was so overwhelmed by his Kundalini awakening that he had to move back in with his family for weeks because he needed someone to take care of him. But perhaps the most harrowing story came from a woman named Debbie, whom I was introduced to by Barry during my search for answers some 2 years into my awakening. Her Kundalini awakening was the worst I'd ever heard. 19 years of continuous torment with barely a day of relief. While she said she has reached many moments of oneness, bliss, and immense beauty where time dissolved and everything existed in perfect present moment awareness, it came at an unimaginable cost. She went blind for 8 years, experiencing intense burning in her eyes every single day. She lost basic concepts. At one point, not knowing what a car was or what New York meant. She had fainting spells, out-of-body experiences where her soul would visit friends with messages, and uncontrollable levitation episodes where friends had to physically pull her back down to earth. She said she spent over $200,000 on healers and energy work, has been suicidal almost every day for much of those 19 years, and can now only speak for a couple of hours a day before severe pain enters her throat chakra. The blood rushed out of my face when she told me that. Was this what I was up against? There are numerous Kundalini support groups filled with people desperately seeking help. I spent countless hours, even resorting to exorcism, trying to figure out how to ground this energy and get it out of my system. But once the cat is out of the bag, there ain't no turning back. People are losing their entire lives to Kundalini syndrome, Kundalini psychosis, and endless purging cycles that leave them unable to function normally. This is why I cannot recommend Kundalini practices to anyone. The suffering to enlightenment ratio is frankly terrible. It's like insisting on performing surgery with a rusty butter knife when laser precision tools are available. Gentler transmissions offer the same destination without the decade-long detour through hell. Kundalini is outdated spiritual technology, in my opinion. the Nokia brick phone of consciousness work in an age where we have spiritual iPhones. With that said, I have had a lot cleared out and have reached unbelievable mystical states because of it. But I've had to trade my ability to function like a normal human. And honestly, the view isn't worth the price of admission. I'm baffled that people are actually trying to wake this thing up with practices like Kundalini yoga and Kundalini activation process. I want to grab them by the shoulders, smack them in the face, and yell, yeah, it's transformative. It transforms your life into a constant episode of Survivor, spiritual edition. Step the hell away, man. I pray daily for this cosmic roller coaster to finally reach the station and let me off. And yet it only seems to be picking up speed, leaving me with several psychotic episodes, numerous vomiting purges, over a dozen ulcers, and now a memory so bad I can't remember the last paragraph I just typed. Naringa has reminded me repeatedly that my kamikaze soul wanted this, that there's a reason it happened, and that it is accelerating my energetic blockage removal process and my path to liberation. While that may be, I still shake my fist daily at that reckless soul, wondering what other cosmic purgatory it has signed me up for without consulting the rest of me first. But by the end of the retreat, little did I know that my path was about to be put into hyperdrive, and there was no way I could have ever imagined just how intense and beautiful it was going to be.